It's up to us to keep them safe. Brought to you by N Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
PLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Lynn. Powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
It's the Coach James Hale Show.
Do you know who I am?
Live and local inside the J. Michaels studio.
People know me.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
And good morning and welcome to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Jeremy Pridgeon is in here on Thursday. Tommy Santamont is doing some special things, special trip. Talk to him. You know, he played ball over in Louisiana, basketball, and going back and reliving that experience. So be careful. The weather's going to be bad over there Friday, and we're going to get it Saturday morning.
Yep.
And I think the worst of it's going to be north of Interstate 10, but still we're got a shot to get something bad right here.
Welcome to spring.
Yeah, I don't like March, April, and May is when the worst the tornadoes are, and hopefully we'll be fine. We'll be fine regardless of what happens.
From cold to hot weather, that mixture is where you get the kind of explosive storms.
Now we opened up with the James Brown, Eddie Murphy, and Dr. Chad Mitchell sent me the video. I think I showed it to you on Monday. Have you seen the video? Have you ever seen it? I'll show it to you during the break. It's classic. Kind of remind me of somebody I know that preaches.
No.
The Saturday Night Live used to be funny.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Right.
I don't even watch it anymore.
Nah,
I was just trying James Brown, Eddie Murphy, Chad Mitchell.
The odd couple.
All right. We got Coach on yet? We got him on. Coach?
Too hot to get in the hot tub.
There you go.
Hey, listen, I want to apologize. I heard the guy that you had come talk to the team before the game and threw the ball out. It took Is it true it took twice? Had to throw it, go pick it up, throw it again. Any truth to that?
Yeah, he would. I don't think it was a strike to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Just put that out there.
No, I know he. I poured it on his legs. He's a great athlete. I know that. I know he can do it.
Bobby, how are you this morning?
He's old lefty. He did a good job. I was proud he was able to come, and the kids enjoyed it. And even though we didn't win, but it was fun.
Hey, but y'all battled. You kept chipping away at it. Just got in the hole early, and I know that's tough to climb out of there. But it was a great night out at North Bay Haven, and Bay Tornadoes over at your place. Great environment. That's what you want to see in county, for baseball. So fun time all the way around. Certainly enjoyed getting the chance to see your kids. I had to bite my tongue a couple of times. I was ready to coach them up.
Yeah, I had the umpire. His arm was not really good that night, and I got kind of warned early, so I had to be quiet the rest of the night.
Well, I thought I might could step in, but then he could run me, and what would it matter?
Right.
Yeah.
Take a bullet for your guy.
Oh, my God.
Oh, but I mean, when it bounces up there and comes in, it's not a strike.
Yeah.
Oh.
Who you got? Well, now we know about what happened with Bay, but who do you got coming up? What's coming up in the schedule?
We got Mariana there today. It'll be a tough game. And we played Lee Scott out of Auburn Monday. We moved it to Monday this past Monday because of the weather. They were a really good team. I know Cook from Trinity when he was at Trinity in Montgomery, and he's at Lee Scott now. And Hudson was the coach before him.
That's right.
Tim Hudson.
Yeah.
And so they were a really good team, and they were coached well. And we battled. We lost 6-5. Lakota pitched really well.
Yeah, that's a good ball game against that crew.
Yeah.
I mean,
they got a great program. Their football team has won a state championship over there.
Yeah. Did they move to AHSAA or are they still AISA?
Yeah, they're in AHS. They're in AHSAA now, and they, in Alabama they count on 1.35 the students.
Right.
They're a private school.
You get the multiplier.
1.35. So.
Yeah. Are they hanging your jersey tonight in Mariana when you go back home?
No, they're probably going to be yelling at me if I go on the field or something. They'll probably boo me. But that'll be fun. I mean, there's nothing wrong with getting booed sometimes.
Well, I know it's going to be nice to go back and see all the familiar faces up there. And y'all had a great ball game against them at your place a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, we played 10 innings, and we lost 3-1. We just can't find a way to win the games in the final inning. And a lot of that has to do with, we got a lot of players that are young.
Mm-hmm.
I think the other night when I started Lakota, we had 2 8th graders and a 9th grader starting on the middle infield.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You can't. It's hard to replace experience early until they get a lot of games under their belt.
Right.
But we'll be fine. It's just, we're trying to figure everything out right now. Me being new, and it's a lot different from the fall and the spring. There's a lot more pressure on the kids, and it's trying to figure out who can get the job done and who can't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I noticed, and just kind of being there in the dugout with you, a lot of attentiveness on these pitch counts, and you and I played at a time where that was really irrelevant. There might have been inning limits and all that, but tell me what your thoughts are on how that shapes, thinking about who you're going to throw, how long you throw them. I mean, I know it has to impact coaching the defensive side.
It does. You got to really be careful. I always keep a pitching chart myself to figure out each hitter, so when we go back and play them again, I know what they hit, what they didn't hit, where to play them, and that sort of thing.
Right.
And also we have another guy that does, he does the pitch count also. But you really got to be careful of that, and plus you don't want to hurt the kid's arm. And like I said, earlier in the year, I throw a kid maybe once a week. I don't know how other coaches do it, but that's the way I've always done it. Unless I close them early in the week, maybe throw 10 or 15 pitches, then I use them at the end of the week. It's just different. Today's game is different than it was when we were coming up, because we were always out in the yard playing. We're always doing something with other sports. Now they play it year-round, so you got to understand that they throw a lot of pitches, year-round, not like when we were coming up. We played all different sports,
right,
and that sort of thing. So
yeah, and there
play
is
baseball once a year.
There's some benefit in resting these arms now, because it was always better when we were playing. I did see one that you like. It said Nolan Ryan's arm was so damaged by the first 5,000 innings of his career that he was only able to strike out 16 Toronto hitters and no-hit them at age 44. So, let that be a cautionary tale. But I know it's safety, and we have seen, kids having Tommy John surgery and no shelf life, but so I know it's in there to protect them. But do the travel ball teams kind of watch that same thing, or is that kind of loosely ungoverned and FHSAA is more strict on it?
I really don't know much about that. I imagine they have. They have something they go by, but it's not the same as an FHSAA. They're really strict on that, because last year I know there were some things that come up.
Right.
But they're really strict on that, and I understand why they're strict on that. But as a coach, you got to understand, too, you've got to get that kid ready. That's why I start them kids off on low numbers early in the year, and then I stretch them out, because this time of the year, they're about at their peak, as far as their number of pitches. You want to get them to that point, and we've already got a couple kids that are to that number. I think if you're like 16, 17, I think you can throw 95 pitches. And then if you're 18, I think it's 105. And they have to have 5 days rest in between and that sort of thing. But they're just trying to protect the kid, because a lot of coaches in the past have pitched them to death, and it's hurt those kids,
Yeah.
Are you seeing less injuries based on these numbers? I know these kids play more baseball now because a lot of people are just playing year-round, but are you seeing less injuries with these pitch counts?
Yeah, I have from my standpoint, knock on wood, I've never had to deal with that situation,
right,
because I've taken care of my kids throughout the season. Toward the end, they'll be stronger, so I've really never had to deal with that much. But I've seen more injuries to kids with their arms that play year-round. I've seen that more than I've ever seen it before.
Now,
just kids that I know,
Right. Does weight training come into effect there? Is there ways that you can kind of build the arm up where they can, pitch longer, or how does that work when it comes to in-season and off-season?
I feel like, too, the kids today, they're worried more about strength, being bigger. And kids are a lot bigger now than they were back when Glavin, Smoltz, Avery, all those guys. You think about those guys. Those guys never really had I think Smoltz had Tommy John,
right?
But overall, there wasn't many surgeries back then, and I just feel like kids are too big and too strong now.
Yeah.
And that plays I think that plays into it.
Well, pitching about flexibility, so too much muscle is going to counteract that. So that probably makes a little bit of sense too.
Yeah.
Bobby, just following up kind of on the the pitch count pieces. Does it just change the strategy where you're just telling them just throw strikes, put this thing in play? I mean, sometimes pitchers would like to pick and waste a pitch and kind of work a craft, but now I mean you go 6-7 pitches into an at bat, you've done a pretty good job as the offense of getting rid of that pitcher a little bit quicker.
Yeah, you have, and I'm not a big believer in taking pitches. We do sometimes if the situation calls for it, but when your team's not hitting as well, you don't want to get behind in the count and have to hit that pitcher's best pitch. So it kind of works both ways.
Right.
And I've seen Coach Johnson then take till they get 2 strikes trying to get a pitcher out of the game. I watched them play Gulf Coast last year, and that's what they were doing, and I kind of learned something from that too. And how many people are going to take till they get 2 strikes? That's hard to do.
Well, I kind of like that philosophy. If we got their number 1 on the mound, we're going to take at least 1. Right. Just move them along there, maybe 2. So kind of on the flip side of that, you've got a couple of kids, that they were a little late. I think maybe some hesitation on pulling the trigger. I've got a little coaching tip for you, and you can leave it in Panama City before you travel up to Mariana.
I'll make sure I write it down. I'll write it down.
But you can leave it in Panama City before you go to Mariana tonight. But even with nobody on, just give them the hit and run so they know they have to swing the bat a little earlier. Just give them the sign. They'll wonder why you gave that sign, but all you're trying to do is get that bat off the shoulders.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So who's on the hill tonight?
I'm kind of keeping it a secret.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, because I'm probably going to throw a couple different guys at them. I don't want to throw the same guys at them too many times because I'm going to probably play them later in the district tournament.
Right.
And I just don't want to give them that advantage where they've seen them so many times. Sometimes that's not good to do that.
Now, is this one of your only teams you're playing twice? I know you're not playing the whole district, but you're playing Mariana twice.
I play them twice. I think I play Rutherford there. I think they're in our district.
Yeah.
We play them twice. And I believe that's about it.
Yeah, because some of them you're just not even playing until you see them in the tournament.
Yeah.
And
that's a lot different, man. I wish they would go back to where we play them during the regular season. And in my opinion, I really wish we didn't even have a district tournament. I wish they went by the regular season. Once you did the regular season, determines if you make the playoffs or not.
Well, you and I have been in Alabama, and we've seen that where you go into a weekend and it's basically best 2 out of 3 with your district, what they call area teams, and then those teams are the ones that qualify at the end, and I think that makes a lot more sense with what happens versus
they play everybody 3 times.
Yeah, you go in and
2
play
out of 3.
Yeah, basically you're going to play Friday and then 2 on Saturday, and you kind of get a series winner, and then that third game you're still going to play it. Yeah, but that's probably going to factor in the tiebreaker.
It's all at
situation.
one home.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the next weekend you may go on the road, but you're going to play like Rutherford and Bay would play Friday and then 2 on Saturday, and then the next weekend they'd play the next district foes, and you play your midweek games, kind of single
But do you
games.
swap it where you're actually playing them 6 times? You get a home and away.
No, you just get the 3.
Okay.
The following year you
Okay.
flip it back.
And they like that in Alabama?
Yeah. You don't have a district tournament. End of the regular season, whoever won the area is in, and along with the runner-up.
I think it makes more sense. Cool. I mean, you get hot in the tournament, but the whole season is about consistency, how well you built your team, how well you manage it, execution. Every game counts.
Well,
so,
Bobby, I think I can pretty much say every coach's nightmare is the district semifinal. I mean, if you don't win that one, you're at the house.
Right.
Well, it's like with our district, man. That first game, you're going to be facing somebody really good. You got Catholic, you got McClay, you got Florida High, you got Walton.
It's a brutal district.
And then Rutherford and us. I mean, it's brutal, man.
Yeah.
Coach, we have run out of time. Thank you so much for coming on. We'll talk to you next Thursday. I wanted to ask you about who's hitting the ball and stuff like that. We'll get into that next week.
I was going to give a shout out to our second baseman, Brandon. He's been doing a good job, and so I just wanted to give a shout out to him. He's been hitting the ball really well.
Oh, good.
All right,
Brandon Holmes.
Well, y'all have a good trip up to Mariana tonight and go get a win.
All right.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Thank y'all for letting me come on.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Coach.
J. Michael's Restaurant. Yesterday was You weren't there. You didn't show up. You said you wouldn't, and you didn't.
Right. Man of my word. I saved you a lot of money.
You sure did. Brian didn't.
You may have saved yourself.
Right.
We had a great time. LSU Jeff was there. We had a good time. A lot of people there. Jay Michaels every Wednesday that way, and at night. Matter of fact, we ate there twice. We ate there lunch and dinner. They only do it once a week. The spaghetti's incredible. Go check it out. But they do have the best seafood, coldest beer. I was there Monday. No, the day it rained. I think it was Tuesday it rained. Some lady from some reason came up to our table, and she goes, I've heard about this place. This is the first time I've been here. They're from Missouri, from all places. And she goes, what do you like? I said, everything's good, but I really love their... If you're going to get seafood, their fried shrimp is the best I've ever had.
Yeah.
And she said, after she said, you're right, you're so right. She didn't know. I mean, I don't think I didn't have an ESPN shirt or anything like that, but it's weird they came to our table and asked me the question.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty magical. Anyway, I don't know why I told you that story, but I did. South Oak Title Closing, do what everybody does. Do what 38 Mark Cowart does. And Beth Movey, they're big-time realtors. They want to use South Oak Title Closing. Hey, they want it right the first time. No mistakes. And that's what Chuck Tucker does. South Oak Title Closing, #1. Not even close, just like Stevenson Air Conditioning. You want that house warm and cool? Warm in the winter and cool in the summer. Is that right, Wildcat?
You got it, Coach.
Stevenson Air Conditioning. They do a great job right here in this studio.
Every time.
If it breaks down during the night, it doesn't matter. Call Stevenson Air Conditioning. They're there for you. Family owned. Locals, taking care of locals throughout Northwest Florida. Charlie Corn's Place. Him and Linda's had a restaurant since 1986. I love this one's on 15th Street. It's brand new. Great facility. They got a room in the back, seats up to about 25 people. You want to have a surprise party for Jeremy. Tommy wants to do that. Tommy Santamon, whatever, whoever, Glenn Manley. Great place to do it. They got home cooking like you would not believe. Beef tips, chopsteak, spaghetti, meatloaf. That's just to name a few. Go check it out. We think you'll love it. We'll be right back. 104.3 Mosley. It's Mosley Day. Let's get Coach on here and see what's going on with the Dolphins. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Your home for college basketball. ESPN Northwest Florida.
March Madness is nearly here, and the Auburn Tigers are punching their ticket.
Three-pointer, punch it in!
This Saturday night, the number 13 Tigers host the Georgia Bulldogs inside the Jungle. Cover starts at 5. Tip-off at 5:30 on your home for college basketball, March Madness, and the Auburn Tigers.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
War Eagle.
Good morning. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your forecast on this Thursday. Some sun this afternoon and evening with a gentle breeze out of the southwest at 8 miles per hour, and look for the high to be 72. Tonight, there will be some clouds with the temperature reaching 60. Mostly cloudy much of the day, but with a possibility of thunderstorms in the evening tomorrow with a high of 72. This weather is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Discover Kia at Bill Bird Kia. Stop by Bill Bird Kia during the President's Day sales event going on now and drive away the new 2024 Kia. Now offering 4.25% APR up to 48 months on the purchase of a new 2024 Kia Sportage. You get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. Bill Bird Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKiaPanamaCity.com. We'll treat you like family and give you the peace of mind you can trust.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2024 Kia Sportage with $2,267 per month per $1,000 financed at 48 months. Quantities limited. No down payment required. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 3/4/24.
It's the Coach James Hale Show. Live and local from the J. Michael Studio.
A lot more excitement is yet to come.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hey, welcome back. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. It's Mosley Day. Every Thursday's Mosley Day. You know, we talk about, we got a connection to the great state of Alabama over at North Bay Haven. And Georgia, Coach Howard spent a lot of time in Georgia, won a lot of state championships over there. One of the top coaches in the Southeast, no doubt about that. Let's bring him on. Coach, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing fine, guys. I appreciate y'all having me.
Well, we appreciate you. I know you're busy. We appreciate you taking time off and spending a little bit of time with us. You had a tough game last week. Your schedule is probably as tough as anybody else in the Panhandle. Tell us what happened, how the game played out, and give us some names the kids are playing well for you.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, we had a little hole in our schedule. We didn't play for, about a week there. So, but we did fill it with JV games. Our varsity, we were almost like we were starting over. We played Marist, and they got 14 state championships under their belt in baseball and good and everything. But we came in and made a couple of mistakes. We got out 1, 2, 3 in the second inning. We hit 2 and walked 2 and misplayed a bunt, and that was a recipe for a big inning. And put up a 5 spot, and it was just hard to overcome with the talent they had. Yeah, they went in and beat South Walton. That's South Walton last night too, by the way. So they're pretty.
They're a solid program, Coach. And I saw some of the guys Sunday night. They were, after practice, they were kind of heading to one of the local restaurants, and they talked about moving the game up because of the weather. And you could just look at these kids and tell they were good athletes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were pretty physical and imposing. They look good in uniform. Of course, we played right with them, but you make a couple of mistakes and against a good program and especially an outstanding team, and it's going to cost you.
Yeah. You're getting ready to go back up close to the old stomping grounds with a little jaunt through East Central Alabama with Opelika and Central and Smith Station. So tell us a little bit about your road trip.
Yeah, we go to Opelika tonight. I think they're 11-3, and then we play Central tomorrow. I think they're something like 11-1, and both of them are ranked in the top 10. Central's number 1 in all classifications in Alabama. So they wanted to go and play for it last year. That 7A there in in that East Alabama, and I think between Auburn and Smith and Central, I think they've been in the finals something like 7 years in a row. That one little area there, and only 2 teams go. And I was in that area. It's really, really competitive. So we got to work that out for us.
Yeah, we were talking earlier with the North Bay Haven coach about the way it's set up, and Georgia has the same setup where you play your area, best 2 out of 3. Kind of set up that way, and then the winner of your area and your runner-up advance. But you mentioned those 3. I mean, somebody's at the house and still with one of the best teams in the state when it's all said and done. So those area games are very, very important in the way that they set up their postseason.
Sure.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah. Did you cross the river and play a lot of those teams when you were in the Columbus area? I know occasionally that happens, but
yeah, we did. Yeah, we always played Central, and we played Auburn in some tournaments, and always played Smiths too. So
yeah, because the Columbus side is strong as well. I mean, you've got a lot of hardware on your on your shelf too. So just a baseball rich area, it really is.
It is. It really is. A lot of professional guys that have came from that whole area there.
Yeah, I want to ask you something. I went and watched 3 days up in Hoover, SEC championship games up there. And when you were talking about that team from Georgia that you just saw out at the restaurant, well, when LSU walked out there, their bodies looked different than most of the other schools. Other teams. I said, them boys are hitting the weight room, and they hit that ball pretty hard. They throw it pretty hard. But Coach, you've done it a long time. Talk about the weightlifting program, how it's affected baseball, and how far do you push it a lot? I mean, you want you guys big like that? I know you got to stretch out and all that kind of stuff. So some guys. In the old days, they didn't really want the baseball players lifting weights, but now I think just about everybody's lifting weights.
Oh, there's no question. We tell our kids, if you want to play at the next level, everybody's faster and everybody's stronger. So, and everybody throws harder. So, and all those components factor into strength training, and but it's got to be functional strength training where it's applicable to baseball. But I don't know any outstanding program that doesn't lift year round now.
What do you focus on the most as far as the weightlifting towards baseball? What's the one or 2 exercises you focus on the most?
Well, I don't think there's 1 or 2. It's just that, going back to, it's got to be functional and it's got to be applied to baseball. But the main thing is you play the game on your feet.
Mm-hmm.
So any particular exercise, that targets, your whole body.
Right.
During those particular exercises, but you got to make sure that that you're also, incorporating, like you said, the range of motion, the flexibility, and the explosiveness. Because in baseball, it's such a short duration, intense interval type training that you got to train that way too. Right. That's how you,
explosion.
There's 15. Up to like 15 seconds between each at bat, and you got to step back in there and get going again.
Give us some names who's playing well for you right now.
Well, the main thing is, Jordan Martinez, our leading hitter, and then Peyton Williams has really been playing well too. Our 1 and 2s, and our batting order, and Carter Payne has came on and really has thrown the ball well. So, but right now we just got to get a little bit more consistent, throughout our lineup, but those are the guys that have been the most consistent. So we've had some peaks and valleys from other guys, but, so we got some good young kids that are pushing the older kids. So, we're going to see what happens with our older guys, but, we got some younger guys that we think that can help us down the stretch.
Well, listen, if you got any kind of fundraisers going on, anything like that during the season, let us know. We'll push it and try to help you as much as you can. I know you guys are doing a lot of traveling. I know it's costing some money. When's your next home game?
We're on the road for 2 weeks and then we come back. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's,
okay.
We go to South Walton next week, and I think they got 2 of the top teams in the country there with Norman Douglas and Catholic out of Baton Rouge. So and I played them in the past too. And like you said, when it's kind of like the high school LSU, when they walk out on the field, it was just like Marist was. It was a little bit different, looking at some of the other teams we played.
I mean, it stood out to me. I mean, I looked at it and I said, whoa, and look what they did. Florida looked good too. Florida's players looked good, but LSU was no doubt. Those guys looked like their bodies were pretty. They looked good.
Yeah, there's no doubt, and my son's a scout, so you got to look the part too. Sometimes, and even if you don't do it, but if you look the part, they may come back.
Right.
Yeah.
Coach, I know the weather forecast is a little dicey for tomorrow, and you've got the one with Opelika. Are y'all doing anything different other than what's scheduled right now, or just kind of watching and waiting and going to try to play it out?
Yeah, we're going to play tonight, and then we did move our games up for tomorrow.
Okay.
So, an hour piece in each one of them. So.
Okay, so a little earlier there, try to get them in and get y'all out of there before it gets too bad.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Right.
Coach, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate it. And we'll talk to you next Thursday, okay?
Have a safe trip.
Bye-bye. Good luck.
Bye.
All right, I just got a text here. We were talking about baseball players lifting weights. You're looking better, strength, explosion. Leighton and Lorelei said that Jared was much stronger than me. I resent that. That is not true. He still can't get me.
Right.
He thinks he can, but he can't.
Tell him to jump on that alligator. See what happens.
That's right, baby. He's gonna jump on. He's gonna wobble back.
This is like one of these. If the 92 Alabama team could be the 2020.
I go back. Think about it, though. Everybody loves bench pressing. We used to work really hard on the bench press, upper body strength. Now is what position you play and stuff like that. But really, I think power cleans. We quit doing back squats completely because a form tackle is a front squat. We just did nothing but front squats, and that helped us, I think, quite a bit. Deadlifts, I didn't like the deadlifts. People hurt their back too much. They don't do it right. It's hard to watch it. But the clean and jerk, power cleans, things like that, are really good.
Clean and jerk kind of simulates controlling the body. I mean, that's the only way you can carry weight, throw it, the core. I mean, legs, explosion. To me, that's one of the best movements you can get for any sport. But like all these coaches know, and you've heard, there's different routines for different sports. You don't want to have a huge chest and big arms if you're a pitcher. I mean, it takes away your flexibility. Speed is flexibility. It's velocity. So there's different ways to train. That's what we help these athletes with. We know different styles for different athletes.
So is it like high reps, low weight?
High reps, lower weight. Now, if I'm an offensive lineman, defensive tackle,
you want bulk.
Low reps, high weight. I mean, you're going to eat a lot of food. I mean, you're not looking for this much.
We used to make the quarterbacks hang from the bar after they lifted weights. It's about every set. They'd hang up there because we threw so much.
Yeah.
But Jared said, Jason got me some good stuff. That's the reason I passed you.
Right.
Yeah, that might be the only reason.
Good job.
Anyway, all right, let's talk about some of our great people. Let's do it, Max Fit Sports Nutrition. Let's start with them.
Yeah, so tomorrow we're going to be out at the Florida Panhandle Golf Alliance out there with James Tipton. We're going to support them. I think it's a great cause. I mean, they're helping veterans that have been disabled. You know, they make machines to help them golf. So this is a really, really good
yes, it is.
Thing for everybody just to get together. A lot of these guys have PTSD. They're just trying to, get out there and have some camaraderie and have some fun. So we're going to be out there handing out samples to those guys, talking to them a little bit about nutrition, what they can use. We have a lot of events coming up next week. We're going to be out at Fitness 360. We kind of have a good relationship with all the gyms, but if you want to get in shape for beach season, we're doing a lot of meal plans right now. We're having a lot of success. It's just not athletes. It's mom, it's dad, it's the person that just wants to lose 5-10 pounds, get ready.
Diet, you can work it all you want. Diet is so important. And these people starting out their kids young, feeding them junk food, fast food all the time, they don't know what they're doing. They're hurting these. That's not good for you.
No, and you can come in and talk. Bring your parents in. We can kind of educate them on how to feed you. Even if they don't want to make that lifestyle change, they can at least understand what we're trying to do with you and get you into the best shape of your life, because your body is the ultimate vehicle. I mean, you only get one of them. I mean, if you can maximize that, these professional athletes, they have personal chefs, they have nutritionists, they have workout regimens. I mean, they put all their time into developing that body, and that's what we're trying to kind of give that foundation for these younger kids so they can grow up and have that knowledge for themselves. We don't really charge anything. If you want us to come out, talk to your team about basic nutrition, Emily's one of the best Olympic weightlifters in the county. She's a 2-time state champion. She's an Olympic. She's unreal. So she's been working with a lot of the high school athletes because we got the men's weightlifting coming up state. So she's working on it with them on form and stuff like that. But she knows a lot about training for different sports. So we can help you out. We'll come out, talk to the team for free. We'll give them a basic knowledge on nutrition and kind of get that foundation started for them.
And after you do that, have all that great talk, you head on down to El Rodeo Tequila Bar and Grill.
And then run it off.
Talk about how good that was.
All day long, not happy hour, all day long. You buy one small margarita, the next one's free. One small draft beer, the next one's free. I'm talking about all day long, man. It's unbelievable. Lunch specials every single day, great food, and on Thursdays, karaoke. It's the night. Go sing, go have a great time. It'll be packed out tonight. Right across the street from the Navy base. Tell David that Coach sent you. Don't forget about Rudy's Barbecue on Back Beach Road. Jeremy, what's your favorite? What this week? What are you liking this week?
Back to the brisket.
All right, Jason, what do you got? What's your favorite, Rudy's?
Oh, I mean, I got 2 or 3 favorites. The brisket, new potatoes, but I love that jalapeno cheddar sausage.
Turkey, baby. Turkey.
The Rudy beans.
Yeah, turkey's mine. They do
Definitely
cater.
Rudy beans.
They cater. They do a great job. Get down to Rudy's. And don't forget the back room. Have a party, have a banquet, have anything. The Lorelei Layton room in the back is absolutely gorgeous. Go check it out. Rudy's Barbecue on Back Beach Road. Dr. Chad Mitchell, this will be his 25th year taking care of Bay High School athletes on the sidelines for 25 years. That doesn't happen every day. He's dedicated that much time. Steve Moss, I hope you're listening. Jerry Register, I hope you're listening. We got to do something for Dr. Chad Mitchell, a legend here in Bay County. If you get any type of injury, call Chad. Go see him and make an appointment. He'll take care of you. We'll be right back. Jeremy Pridgeon, Jason Kovaleski, Wildcat himself. When we get back, we're going to talk about Coach Steve Spurrier. Coach Steve Spurrier, the legend, 104.3, ESPN Northwest Florida, the Lorelei Layton Show.
ESPN Northwest Florida presents
Wrestling Against Cancer. number 9.
Saturday, April 27th at Bayhaven Charter Academy. In the main event, it's a tag team showdown with Exodus versus Mike Steele and Mr. 850. Then, Kelly Mann and Kelly Clark in the Wrestling Against Cancer Championship bout. Plus, exciting women's wrestling. Doors open at 5:30. Bell time 6:30.
More information, ESPNPC.com.
Hi, folks. It's Tracy with Tracy's Fine Jewelry and Coin and Bullion Reserves. Did you know that we do more than just sell some of the finest jewelry in town? We can engrave on your wedding band, locket, Yeti cup, or almost anything. Need your watch battery changed? We can do that too. Our expert will even evaluate your coin collection. And of course, we always pay top dollar for your old gold and silver jewelry. See, there's a lot more to Tracy's Fine Jewelry than a lot of pretty sparkly things. Come and see us today at Tracy's Fine Jewelry.
There's nothing more satisfying than helping you find the perfect vehicle. And this month, find something you love at just 2.99% APR on our most popular models. Plus 90 days until you make your first payment. Like the 2024 Camry with stylish good looks and impressive performance. Or the 2024 Corolla, built for comfort and style with top-notch tech. Panama City Toyota. For over 30 years, where relationships are born.
Offer expires March 4th. For details, visit PanamaCityToyota.com.
Celebrating 60 years in business? That boot store must be doing something right. How about one of the largest Western collections in the area? Carhartt work clothes, affordable prices, and absolutely the best personal service you'll find anywhere. These are just a few reasons that boot store is celebrating 60 years in business. Stop in today. Open Tuesday through Thursday, 9 till 5. Friday and Saturday, 9 till 5:30. Next to Bill Bird Kia 15th Street in Panama City. That boot store, where God is good all the time.
He's a beacon of light to many and an inspiration to all.
These men need inspiration.
Now back to the Coach James Hale Show inside the J. Michaels studio.
They're motivated by Vicodin and Road Skank.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. I was talking to Jeremy in between the break. I probably have not seen Coach Spurrier. I have not spoken to Coach Spurrier since probably 2000. He came and spoke at the Gator Club gathering. I don't know if it was on Panama City Beach or wherever, but he actually introduced us. It was 2000 before the season started, our first year. But Coach Spurrier was a big deal in our life, and Jared, my son, my daughter. When he was at Duke and he came to Florida, the first banquet, I've told this story before, he spoke at our school at Lake Wells. He was our guest speaker. Of course, I had a parade All-American. Everybody in the country wanted it. Wouldn't play NFL for
funny how that works.
Yeah. but I got to spend some time with him. He was with us all day, and that entire day, Carl Franks had to go do some. Coach Spurrier was at the house using her phone, talking to Emmitt Smith's dad. He was mad at a reporter in Tampa, all this kind of stuff. I was kind of eavesdropping, but he was he's such a good man. He's a very honest man.
Yep.
He was holding Jamie when Jamie was a little baby, and Jared, just great. So when Jared grew up in his bedroom, it was pictures of Spurrier everywhere.
Right.
He loved Coach Spurrier.
Trader.
Coach called the principal at Cape Coral for me. As soon as he did, I had the job. Got the job at Cape Coral. He would come down and recruit. One particular time, they were going to have several guys coaching an all-star game down there. The freak, Javon Curse.
Right.
And then the great running back, Ernest Graham. And he would come down, and I coached both those guys in all-star games. But Ernest, one of our assistant coaches, had coached him all in Pop Warner, knew him and everything like that. And so everybody would kind of maybe guide him towards Florida. I can't really say that. But anyway, Coach Spurrier would come down and recruit Ernest, and he'd call the house. And Julie came over one time and goes, "It's Coach Spurrier." And he goes, he don't want to talk to you. He wants to talk to Jared. He remembered Jared. Of course, Carl, we kept up with Carl Franks that recruited that area.
Yeah.
We kept up with him every year. And we went up there to their football camps every year and coaching clinics. So, and now I was a guest speaker to coach one of the 93 year. We had won a championship. And we went and spoke. Our staff went up there and we spent time. They took care of us. They paid. He did a really good job.
You might have been there when I was at camp. Coach Reeves was the quarterback coach over there. I went over there too for him.
What year was that?
93.
We were there.
Yeah.
We were there. There's no doubt about that. That's unbelievable. You're out there throwing. But he would, so he knew Jared and everything. So he'd call, talk to Jared, and Jared was like, go to school and tell people, and everybody look at me, yeah, right, Steve Spurrier called you, right?
Right.
But anyway, he is a great man.
That's
He's
awesome.
very honest. He tells you the truth. Some people don't like him because he's kind of tells it like it is.
Right.
But he will, and I like that. But I want to talk about something about Coach Spurrier. The old ball coach, he's made millions of dollars. He won the Heisman Trophy at Florida. He was a first-round draft pick back in the 60s. He was 50 years of his life been involved in football. He's 76 years old. Now he owns a restaurant down in. Have you been to Jeremy? Have you been to his restaurant?
I have not yet. I've heard really good things.
I want to go to that restaurant down in Gainesville. Next time we go to Disney or something, I want to go by there and see his restaurant. He serves as an ambassador to the University of Florida, the football program. He just made some comments the other day about doesn't know what the direction the program's going. Not just what a lot of people are thinking. And then he bragged on Billy, saying, I really like him. He's a great guy, great family man, works his tail off. The question, do you really need that many people working? And does it really help?
These support staffs are huge nowadays, though. I mean,
big time. Yeah, big time. Has a statue outside the stadium. He named the stadium the Swamp. Everybody now calls it the Swamp. He coached at Duke. He coached at Florida. He coached at South Carolina. He was born in Miami. I didn't know this. He was born. Steve Spurrier was born in Miami. And then his family moved to Johnson City, Tennessee. He threw for 4,848 yards and 37 touchdowns at Florida. In 1966, Steve Spurrier's I think it was their best record there. They go 9-2. What team beat him? What team did he hate?
Tennessee.
Yeah, the Georgia Bulldogs.
Oh.
Yeah, Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah, he hates Georgia.
He doesn't like Georgia. He don't like Tennessee either. He doesn't like Georgia. 10-year career in the NFL, mostly as a backup quarterback for the 49ers. He ended up in Tampa Bay. I think his last year was 1976. He was the ACC Coach of the Year in 1988, 1989.
At Duke?
At Duke.
Yeah.
At Duke. Won the ACC championship at Duke. Florida, he won the national championship in 1996. He made that, I think they made that year, he made $1.94 million. Most wins in Florida history. Listen to his record at Florida. Just think if he had never left. If he would have stayed at Florida until he got out of coaching, never went to Washington, he might have broke every record. We'd be talking about him like we do with Saban.
Yeah.
I mean, he would have been the GOAT. I still think he's maybe the GOAT. He won 122 games. He only lost 27.
Wow.
122 and 27. And now look at Florida. 3 losing seasons in a row. This is how good he was. In the NFL, he goes to NFL from Florida. I think he got upset. People were, he'd win 10 games, people weren't happy.
No.
And I think that kind of bothered him.
Look where you're at now, though.
Yeah. Are you happy now?
Right.
Now we call them the good old days.
Right. 5-year contract worth $25 million. He goes there, was not happy. Knew he had made a mistake. He only stayed there a year, made a little bit over $10 million. Then he takes a job at South Carolina. He started out his first year making $1.25 million. In 2015, he was making $4 million a year. 11 years at South Carolina. 11 years. Just think if he stayed at Florida for 13 years, okay?
13 more years, yeah.
That would have been unbelievable.
He would have won probably 2 more national champions.
He would have beaten Bear Bryant's the most wins SEC head coach. I do believe that. All right. At South Carolina, the legendary ball coach won 86 games, won 49, which is, look at South Carolina since he's left. They hadn't done anything. He's estimated earnings probably around $60 million.
Not bad.
Yeah, pretty good for an old ball coach. He's in the College Football Hall of Fame. I'm getting to the bottom line here. They did an estimated net worth of these coaches and these legendary people. Now his net worth today, this is what they think. Jeremy, call him and ask him if it's correct. I don't know if he'll get mad at us worrying about this or not. He's up there with Jason Kovaleski. I will say that. Estimated worth right now, Steve Spurrier, $25 million. Jeremy, could you live off $25 million?
Yeah, we can make that work.
It would struggle at times, but I think it'd be okay. You think you'd be all right?
I think I could feed my family on that.
Open up a couple more stores, maybe?
No, I wouldn't do that.
But anyway, I thought that was interesting. He is one of the finest men I've ever met. I look at what the years I lived, been blessed. Coached football, got to know Coach Spurrier, got to know him pretty well. Hadn't talked to him, hadn't seen him. He wouldn't know who I was. It's been 28 2000 last time I talked to him. But I've been in Bobby Bowden's office several times. He's been down to the coaches where I've coached at. He's been to our football games. We were playing What Color one year, and he's in the end zone recruiting that All-American linebacker they had. We beat him, and we were all talking. Bobby Bowden's not here to see you. He's here to see them. We told the kids that, and we played our heads off. I think he heard about it. Him and Mickey was there, too, down the end zone. But that was pretty cool.
Sweet guy.
Just knowing all these guys because of coaching high school football. Saban, all those, some legendary coach. Les Miles was a good guy. I think he was a really good guy, good person. I do.
As far as you know.
As far as I knew, I like him. I thought he was a good guy. But anyway, I love Coach Spurrier.
But Bobby Bowden and Steve Spurrier were some of the best guys I've ever met. I've been to both their camps. The reason I went to the Florida camp is because Spurrier was an excellent quarterback coach. It was one of the best quarterback camps back then because we didn't have all these specialized camps, but all the big-time quarterbacks went down there, so you were able to compete down there. But Bobby Bowden was one of the nicest guys. I mean, he knew everybody, remembered your name. I mean, I went up there maybe 3 or 4 times to for him when they came back to Bay High to recruit some of our better players. He was like, hey, Jason, how you doing? He knew my mom and talked to her. So just a really, really, really good man. And to have those guys at Florida State and Florida at that time was unmatched. And now you see where both these programs are. They're trying to get back to that level. But
back when they were at Florida and Florida State, and even Howard Snell, you can go put Miami in it for a couple of years.
Yeah.
This national championship was going to go to the state.
Went through Florida.
You're going to have to beat them, or they're going to win it. That's one of the schools.
If they hire the right coaches, it'll probably happen again because there's a talent in Florida. Now other states are coming up. Georgia's coming up. I mean, but Florida has the most talent and probably.
And just think, Lane Kiffin might have been at Florida State.
Yeah, he might be at Florida soon.
Oh, it could have been at Florida State if things were working out at Alabama, like it almost did.
Bobby Bowden could have been at Alabama.
People don't realize how close it came, him leaving and going to Alabama. Florida State's Norrell.
Yeah.
I saw some of our great people. Want to thank. I saw that finger. Great people. Get out to Newbies. Have a great time. 3 great locations. And today is Thursday. So at lunchtime today at the mothership at Newbies, they feed you lunch from 12 to 1, and then bingo starts. People are enjoying it. A lot of people are going, and they're giving out great things there. Go check it out. And they'll have the best bands in the weekend. Spring break's going on. Everybody goes to Newbies. The place will be packed out at night. No doubt about that. Watch all the sporting events. Newbies 2 on the Curve. John Charlotte giving back to the community all the time. Go sport all the Newbies, but especially that bingo thing. That's something I like to do. Dr. Ward, the legendary doctor here, comes on every Wednesday 7:30. He's doing a good job coaching that baseball team over there, youth league, travel team. He does a good job with that. Does a good job when he talks about the Florida Gators, but he's an unbelievable doctor. 1 in 5 develop skin cancer. It can be deadly. Don't put it off. Go get checked out. And 5 minutes can save your life. There's offices throughout Northwest Florida. We'll be right back. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Be right back.
It's the PCB Hobby Takeover with Todd. Mondays at 5:20 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
That is a very high-end card and very rare.
Todd talks about coins, trading cards, collectibles, and the amazing stories behind them.
It was the first one that's ever come through my door.
Plus, we'll be taking your calls and questions at 850-215-6290. The PCB Hobby Takeover.
A platform for you to do your hobby.
Mondays at 5:20 on the Sports Talk Must. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your forecast on this Thursday. Some sun this afternoon and evening with a gentle breeze out of the southwest at 8 miles per hour and look for the high to be 72. Tonight, there will be some clouds with the temperature reaching 60. Mostly cloudy much of the day, but with a possibility of thunderstorms in the evening tomorrow with a high of 72. This weather is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Buffalo Rock is now hiring Class A CDL delivery merchandisers. A $1,250 hiring incentive. $1,000 Class A CDL incentive. Come join their team. Why join the Buffalo Rock team? You're paid weekly. 401k retirement plan with match. Awesome insurance benefits are available. Also, 40 hours paid vacation after 180 days. To apply, go to buffalorock.com/careers.
Did you know that fees associated with real estate closings are virtually the same from one title company to the next? So what sets South Oak Title apart? Effective communication, customer service, expertise, and technology. If you're buying or selling real estate, refinancing a residential or commercial property, tell your realtor you want to close with South Oak Title. South Oak Title, with locations across the Southeast, including Panama City Beach, Inlet Beach, Destin, and Fort Walton Beach. Visit them online at southoaktitle.com.
If your neighbor, employer, or grandmother were traumatized by comments made on the Coach James Hale Show.
One thing, he won't say a whole lot about it. I'll probably get in trouble, but
just wanted to take this moment to say, get bent. We're live from the J. Michael Studio, ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. All right, I want to do something. We're going to get as much as I can on this and save it for later today or tomorrow if we don't finish up. They came out with, and I want you guys' opinion on this, 2024 big games. They had the top, one of the rankings, and they went by that, and they picked out these teams, their biggest games, and we'll see if we agree or not. Georgia is ranked number one in most of the polls. Either Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon, Texas. That's probably the top four teams in some kind of order, any way you want. Georgia's biggest game of 2024. They've got some tough games. They're at Texas. They're at Ole Miss. They're at Alabama. But
they got Clemson early.
They got Clemson and Atlanta. No doubt about it. They got some big games. But they said the biggest game is because it's the two heavyweight champions, Alabama, Georgia, on the road in Tuscaloosa in September.
Kirby wants revenge, too, boy.
Yeah, and now it's a big game for Alabama because this is the game they're going to judge him by.
Right.
If he wins this, I think things could go pretty well for him for year one. If he loses it, we'll see. Jeremy, is the Georgia game the biggest, Georgia-Alabama game, the biggest for Georgia early in the year, or is it at Texas on October 19th? They haven't played in Texas in 66 years. That's another huge football game. But what is the biggest game for the Bulldogs, in your opinion?
It is the Alabama game. And recent history, I think, while everybody talked about Georgia supplanting Alabama because they won the game in Indianapolis, even though Alabama won the SEC game, and then last year SEC championship game, Alabama won again. Alabama is 8-1 against Georgia, but if you listen just to the broadcast,
Bulldog fans don't think so.
Yeah. Well, the rest of the nation doesn't. But this one now, you might as well be 0-0 with Saban out of the room now. Even though Alabama was 8-1, but the dynasty had crumbled because of one loss in Indianapolis when Slade Bolden was our top receiver.
Yeah.
Now you've got two trying to establish dominance. So that's a huge game out the gate.
Is that Georgia's biggest game in your opinion?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Georgia's just lost to Alabama this last year for a chance to play for a national championship. They're
to win three in a row.
Yeah, to win 3 in a row. They're going to get that back. And now the perception that Saban's gone, Georgia's automatically just going to step in and dominate the SEC, which I don't think is going to happen. But this is a big opportunity for DeBoer to kind of establish himself with the fan base, the alumni, the boosters, and say, hey, we're still Alabama. We still recruit on the level that nobody else does. To go to win the SEC championship, it goes through Alabama.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Alabama's been the team of the SEC for years and years.
The team of NCAA, if we really being honest. Right. I mean, 6 national championships, you can't beat that.
And then Georgia, what they've done, Kirby is just 1-5 against Bama and really against Saban. So I think he needs to get it done. I do think it's the biggest game. Number 2, the Ohio State Buckeyes. Listen, what Michigan did by winning the national championship doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. I think that's a good thing for the Buckeyes. Look what they have done. They've gone out. Matter of fact, there's an article today that Ohio State right now is favored to land every major 2025 top recruit in the country. They have made it clear they're sick of what happened with Michigan win the national championship. Go do what we have to do to win a championship. We better get it done. So this might have been a good thing for what Michigan did because Ohio State's trying to take it to the next level. The biggest game for the Buckeyes, I think, there's a lot of them. They got Oregon early in the year, no doubt about that. But the experts, and I agree with them, is the home game versus Michigan, November 30th. Everybody in the country will be watching. Michigan just won a national championship. If he loses to Michigan again, he's in big time trouble. I don't care if he goes 12, 11-1. If he loses that, it's big time. Jeremy, Is the Michigan game the biggest game? They got Oregon early in the year.
It's Michigan.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not even a question. I don't care if we're 5-5. I mean, the Michigan game's always the biggest game for Ohio State. That's what Woody planned the entire year. There was always a Michigan section in practice, even in week 1. And this is, we talk about how much talent they accumulated, but with all that talent comes more pressure. And he's 0-3 in the last 3.
Brian Kelly, offensive coordinator.
Absolutely. They brought in Howard. They brought in Sayin. I mean, they got Caleb Downs. I mean, they are absolutely loaded. I mean, and I'm not saying that as an Ohio State fan. I'm just saying that as a college football fan and recruiting. Caleb Downs is probably the best player in college football, and they were able to steal that from Alabama and shore up the back end of that defense. So their defense, bring it back every guy. I think they lost 1 to the draft that they underclassmen, and we probably had 6 or 7 that could have left early and been top 3-round picks. So this is a loaded team, but this is just so much pressure on Ryan Day. If he doesn't beat Michigan, he'll be gone next year.
Number 3, Oregon. Their biggest game, I agree with this. They got 2 huge ones. They're going to play at Michigan, and then they got October 12th home versus the Ohio State Buckeyes. Jeremy, I agree with them. What's your take on that? Oregon's biggest game is at Michigan, Ohio State, or some other team?
No, those are the 2. And, was this a good move to the Big Ten or not?
We'll see.
I just can't believe they lost their quarterback. Okay, he's gone. I don't care how good the guy coming in. He's got to learn the system. He's never played, in a game like this. They're getting a lot of love. I think it was maybe a little bit too much. Look at Nebraska. Everybody thought Nebraska going to the Big Ten, they're going to dominate. They're going to, They found out that that's a big-time league. That's big boy football. And I think Oregon's going to find out it's a little bit tougher in the Big Ten.
Physicality.
But they are. They got talent now. I know that. But what do you think? Is it the biggest game for them?
The biggest game is going to be Ohio State. I think Michigan lost so much. The coaching staff is rated. They lost probably, 15 starters. I mean, they got 19 kids at the combine or something crazy like that. So they're going to be in a rebuilding year. Ohio State's loaded. If Oregon is as good as these guys say, they get Ohio State at home. To me, that's a huge game for them because they could beat Ohio State at home, lose to Michigan, still be comfortably in the playoffs, probably win the Big Ten if they do that. But the Ohio State at-home game is the absolute biggest game for them on the season.
All right, the next one, number 4 ranked Texas. This is the teams they mentioned. Their schedule's pretty tough this year. They're at September 7th, they're at Michigan. October 18th, Georgia comes into town, and then neutral site. And they say the biggest game on Texas' schedule, I don't know if I agree with it or not, but I get where they're coming from, is Oklahoma. Oklahoma beat them last year in the regular season. Oklahoma's kind of got their number some years. October 12th in Dallas, Oklahoma. I don't know. I was really going to put Georgia as the biggest game, but they say no. It's Oklahoma. What say you?
It's the national championship game that everybody expected and didn't get after Michigan beat Alabama.
Right.
It's Texas-Michigan. That's the big one.
Okay.
Nobody had Washington beating Texas, and you were playing the futures market on those tickets and watched the price plummet because the.
So you're saying the experts are wrong. I like that.
I do.
Okay.
I think Texas going to Ann Arbor, huge.
I got Texas, Georgia. Georgia's the king of the SEC right now in people's minds, even though Alabama beat them last year. They're going to be the number 1 or number 2 team in the nation with Carson Beck coming back. If Texas is truly the team that everybody's saying, national championship contender, that's going to be a huge game for seeding, for winning the SEC. I do think Michigan's a huge game, but we're talking about a conference foe who's been at the top, and to be the best, you got to beat the best. To me, it's the Georgia game.
The expert said Oklahoma. I get the rivalry. I know it's one of the biggest rivalries in all of college football. I get that. But Oklahoma's record last couple of years haven't been that great. Michigan just won the national championship. I get where you're coming from, Jeremy. But I'm like, it's Georgia. Georgia, back-to-back national championship, lost 1 game last year. Alabama, everybody's got them ranked number 1. If you're going to be the Texas big boy bully of the SEC and dominate, you got your opportunity. October 9th when Georgia rose up in there. I say Georgia too.
So last year we had a situation where an early season non-conference game really factored into the Final Four selection, and that was Texas-Alabama.
Yes.
And so an early season SEC Big Ten matchup of 2 heavyweights, while the number of teams is greater, could have the same implications when you're sitting there trying to figure out who's in, who's out, who's playing where, who gets a bye.
I just see Michigan as a down year this year. I just don't see how they can be on that level.
I'm with him. Michigan, even though they won 15 games, had a great team last year, a veteran team, older players, 5-year players, a lot of them.
6-year players in some cases.
A lot of them. And I said that when Bama got ready to play them. I said, this is a veteran team. They better watch out. They got an advantage in that area. But you got a guy who's never been a head coach before. I don't care. He was a
offensive coordinator, or whatever. Interim
head coach
at the end of the year. Yeah.
But Harbaugh was at every practice.
Right.
Okay. They had everything. Yeah. So I'm waiting to see how well he does.
And Harbaugh took a flamethrower to that coaching staff on the way out.
Yeah,
so.
I'm with you. I think Michigan's going to have a tough year. Not when I say tough. I don't.
9-3, 10-2.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
They're going to lose a couple of ball games. How much time we got? We're going to go. Let's take the break. And if we get a chance, we'll come back to this. We get back. Jeremy's going to talk about the mighty Crimson Tide of Alabama. And then we got Auburn, and then we got a lot of good stuff for you today. Great show today. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Jason. Wildcat, thanks so much. I got to get out of here. I got a doctor's appointment.
No.
I'm kidding. Let's talk about some of our I'm talking about great sponsors. I love John. Retired police officer. What does he own? He owns Paparazzi Gourmet Deli. LSU Jeff wants to go down there and have lunch. Go down there today, Jeff, and check it out. Lunch special for about $11. You get 2 slices of pizza and a drink. Let me warn you, 2 slices of pizza there is like a pizza at most places. It's really outstanding. Paparazzi Gourmet Deli on Thomas Drive. Go check it out. 3 restaurants in one. The deli, the bakery, the pizza. Unbelievable. Try the Paradise Cake. Wildcat, I want to go buy Jeremy something nice. He's been doing this show for a long time.
It's funny you should say that because today is our 2nd anniversary together here at ESPN Radio.
Good job.
I have put up with your...
And nobody died.
For 2 years.
Hey, listen.
And I'll tell you what, here's what you do. You want to make it up to me, you go to David Adamson Jewelry.
There you go.
On Highway 77. He's got I think it's a 1.5 carat.
Ooh.
No, it's a 10.
Dang.
A 10. It's a great big...
You ain't getting that from Coach Hale. No.
Yeah.
I'd be lucky to get a diamond chip.
I'll give you a donut.
But they got
if you buy it.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
But you go out there on Highway 77. They open up at 10 o'clock. They got all kinds of jewelry. Take your old jewelry out there. Get it clean. Get it appraised. Do it today.
No, they're a great place, no doubt about that. I want to take you to Beef O'Brady's. I know you love it there. I got to take you over there and buy your lunch. Beef O'Brady's in Lynn Haven. Yesterday, they had a special 10 wings. Every Wednesday, 10 wings inside for $9.99. They got the $10 deal going all week long. Great atmosphere. Pat does such a wonderful job. Great people that work there. Check it out, Beef O'Brady's in Lynn Haven. Do you want that yard to look absolutely gorgeous? It can happen. Turf Pro Pest Control can make it happen to you. Call Pat. He does a great job. Patrick does an unbelievable job. Your yard will look absolutely beautiful. Turf Pro Pest Control. We'll be right back. Alabama Crimson Tide. Roll Tide.
ESPN Northwest Florida. We're taking the inside drive.
Give it to me, Reiner. Are you rooting for the Dodgers or rooting against them?
Against the Dodgers.
All right. Hey, we're just clarifying.
Yeah,
Just
no, absolutely. I'm full on Braves now.
I got you.
I've dove in. We went to 3 games last year. Kind of a big deal. I got a jersey.
Yeah, you're all in.
I'm committed. They're my baseball team now. So, yeah, we hate the Dodgers.
Join Ryan Mulvey.
Thank you very little.
Middays 11 to 1 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your forecast on this Thursday. Some sun this afternoon and evening with a gentle breeze out of the southwest at 8 miles per hour and look for the high to be 72. Tonight, there will be some clouds with the temperature reaching 60. Mostly cloudy much of the day, but with a possibility of thunderstorms in the evening tomorrow with a high of 72. This weather is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
If you spend any time at all in your yard, you're going to encounter fire ants.
We know they can ruin a party. That's why we're this area's experts at fire ant elimination.
As your certified top choice professional, we will rid your yard of these unwanted invaders. Brock Pest is so sure they will get rid of fire ants that they offer a 1-year guarantee.
Enjoy your yard fire ant free. We guarantee it. Give us a call for your free consultation.
Brock Lawn and Pest Control, our family protecting yours since 1968.
PLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Lynn Haven. Powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
Put down your natural light. It's time for the Alabama Update. The Alabama Update, weekday mornings at 8. On the Coach James Hale Show at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Roll Tide, roll. Come on, Bama. All right, let's talk about Stevenson Air Conditioning. One of my favorite guys. I've known Jason. God, I've known him a long time. He's been with us for a long time. Does an incredible job. Their business is unreal, and he is a local man. Grew up here. Got local people working for him. They do a great job. Jason's dealt with him. Everybody in our studio has. Everybody goes with him. A lot of trucks in Bay Point. We always see Stevenson Air Conditioning out there. All my buddies use him. Stevenson Air Conditioning. You got any problem, you call Stevenson Air Conditioning. You got to get it serviced about 6 months. Right before summer, right before winter, you call Stevenson Air Conditioning. If you got an old one and your power bill's going through the roof, get rid of it. It'll pay for itself over a period of time. You call Stevenson Air Conditioning. All right, Jeremy, what do you got for us today on Alabama?
There's a lot going on as far as the winter sports ending up, spring sports cranking up. Alabama's ladies await the winner of Tennessee and Kentucky in the SEC tournament. They've had a great run. Should be looking to play in the women's NCAA tournament that's going to be following the conference tournament. So good luck to them. Obviously, South Carolina's the juggernaut for the whole nation, but it's nice to see improvement there in the women's program. On the men's side, a tough night in Gainesville earlier this week. Alabama played Florida in an overtime game up in Tuscaloosa and got that win, but had to make the return trip down to Gainesville, and it just did not go well. Florida just shot us out of the gym. I'm pretty sure we were on the court, but sure looked like some other guys in our jerseys. 105-87.
I turned the channel. I couldn't watch it anymore.
Florida's got some size, man. It gives the Alabama's front line a little bit of trouble, even up in Alabama.
I think that coach does a good job at Florida. Everybody's on him. Heck, I think they do pretty good.
I think they're a sleeping giant here for the
them in Kentucky. Watch out for them in Kentucky.
Yeah. And going on the road in the SEC is tough. Going on the road in basketball is probably the toughest in any NCAA sport, and that showed up again. And I know Florida felt like they had one get away from them when they were in Tuscaloosa, and they weren't going to let that happen on their home court. Alabama will wrap up the regular season in Tuscaloosa against Arkansas Saturday, early tip, 11 o'clock in the morning, and then the tournament will begin next week up in Nashville. So, Alabama not going to win the regular season title. That's done. Congrats to the Volunteers. Tennessee's another team. If you look at this top of the SEC, it's going to be a fascinating tournament. There are a lot of teams that could go in and win it. Kentucky can always make a run. Alabama could get it together and make a run. They're streaky. Florida, dark horse. Tennessee, to me, kind of is the front runner right now in just terms of playing most consistent. That connect that Alabama did a pretty good job against. He's a beast, but when Alabama shut him down, it just opened up other opportunities for Tennessee players. So they seem to be the most complete ball club.
Did you watch them last night against South Carolina?
I did not get to see them last night.
I watched that. They're good.
Yeah, they're good. And South Carolina's still a good ball team.
Yeah, South Carolina played great, but Tennessee's good.
Just a little different level here. So we'll get into March Madness on both the women's side and the men's side. What's nice about it, we're not sitting here on the bubble.
Right.
That's usually an annual exercise for us.
They just got to shore up some defensive rotation. Their defense sometimes just breaks down, and you're like, oh, well, what is going on here? Yeah. But they can shoot the ball. They got that left-handed point guard that gets hot. I mean, they're a streaky team when they're shooting well, but they need to be shooting well, and they need to shore up that defense.
But don't they always say you win with defense?
Yeah,
just about every sport.
Go watch Houston play defense. That's why they're number one in the country. They get after people. They get up in people. UConn's the same way.
Tennessee plays.
Tennessee's really good, but it's rare now to see a really good defensive basketball team. You got guys going down shooting 3-pointers within 10 seconds of the shot clock. I mean, they're running defense.
That's what Alabama does. They shoot about every 10 seconds.
Oh yeah. They're scoring the 80s or 90s about every game. So, but defensively, you got to dig in.
Got to dig in to keep that from happening. Now, on the spring sports, Alabama softball 19-1 to start the season. Yeah.
Woo! Roll Tide, baby. Roll Tide.
The lone loss to the Jaguars of South Alabama.
We just weren't ready to play. We were
throwing them a bone in state school.
The Jags got us 2-0 on the same weekend. We beat Arizona twice.
Can you believe that? This is.
But
and that's the biggest game on their schedule for Jacksonville State.
Or South Alabama.
I mean, South
Alabama there. And then head to Gainesville this weekend here for
and Florida's pretty good in softball.
Yeah, so I believe that game's. Let me double check, make sure it's.
I think it is at Florida.
I think it's at Florida. I'm gonna double check that. But 19-1. No, in Tuscaloosa. Wow. So open in Tuscaloosa. All right. So on the men's side, a successful trip out to Texas. They played the toughest non-conference opponents they'll play. They played Indiana, drummed them 12-0, 7-inning Mercy Rule, a great 7-6 win over Arizona, and then lost in 12 to Dallas Baptist.
Pretty good this. I like the coach.
Yeah.
Last night,
Troy, 8-7 game.
Troy played them well now. Ryan got to pitch a little bit, so he was on our radio show yesterday. He's pitcher at Troy.
And Alabama will make a return trip to Troy later in the year. We're going to try to go to that one there.
Doug Lee's going to be calling that game.
And then Lipscomb comes in this weekend for a 3-game set. And then
where are they out of, Jeremy?
I'll have to look that up.
I never heard of that.
I think it's Virginia. I'm not sure. But the non-conference, aside from that, trip out to Texas was pretty light. Nashville, Tennessee. Okay. Lipscomb there in Nashville. Then your Golden Eagles, they're going to make a little trip down to Hattiesburg, Alabama at Southern Miss on Tuesday, the 12th.
Wow. All right. Go Eagles.
Yeah, so
Southern Miss.
And then
Southern Miss got a good baseball team usually.
They do. That's that's a tough midweek game there. It really is. And then Tennessee will open conference play. So Alabama doing well in the spring sports, non-conference wrapping up, conference play on the horizon. Spring football also underway. We're getting a little different look at how things will take shape. We got some music being played on the field here. I saw that kind of the general.
But one of the main reasons that because the new helmets they're using it now during practice. And they said the first day they couldn't hear it very well. Now they're getting used to it.
There. A couple of notes on the coordinators. Kane Womack is said to be very vocal, very involved, floating around, giving plenty of feedback, and he's working, very hands-on in his role as coordinator. The quarterback pecking order seems to be Milroe, Simpson, and Austin Mack. So you don't see much change there yet, and I don't really hear of a quarterback battle brewing right now. I mean, I think they're all competing, but
we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, but I think Milroe's QB1 simply because he was QB1 out of last year.
But look what DeBoer did with Penix. I mean, he wasn't Penix at Indiana when he came to Washington. So, if he can get Milroe more comfortable within the pocket and throwing from the pocket with his athletic ability, you could see a completely different quarterback.
He's going to have to get rid of the ball a lot quicker than he's done in the past.
Well, we see the involvement of Jalen Hurts, too, and he's got some different type of coach. I'm not saying he was
He went to Oklahoma and got better.
Exactly. Yeah. And Lincoln Riley was a good quarterback coach. So just seeing him work with DeBoer, I think he's going to improve drastically over this year, and if he does, look out.
Look out. If you can tailor it to his skill set, which is what the struggle was early in the year. I mean, he wasn't a 3-step drop back passer, which was proven it against Texas.
They rated all the quarterback rooms in the SEC, and Alabama actually was either number 1 or number 2. You don't realize they've got guys in that room that can throw the football.
Yep.
They can't run like Milroe. That's the reason they were back us, but they can chunk the ball.
They let Julian Sand
freshmen last year.
They let Julian Sand walk because of this Mac kid. You know what I'm saying? They
he saw all the competition. I don't blame the guy.
No, but they wanted Mac. They said they wanted to bring Mac in. Sand didn't really want to, maybe stay there with a crowded, quarterback room after Saban had left, which I understand that. But they could have, put all their eggs in the Sand basket, but they really wanted Mac over there. They believe in him. They think he's their best option.
Yeah. And during the part of the session that was open to the media, no surprise here, DeBoer was, working with the offense, particularly with the QBs and the running backs, whereas if you'd had that during the Saban era, he'd been right back there with the DBs. So, this is his specialty, and whoever the OC, knows, just like the DC at Alabama under Saban knew that the true DC was Saban and the true OC is going to be DeBoer.
Right.
So that's a little glimpse inside the new practice environment that's emerging in Tuscaloosa. And I think everybody's just trying to find their footing. Even the players said, just trying to know where to go after a drill. It was a lot of pre-work, given that coordinators would come and go, but Saban was the constant. So he had an idea of how things were working. Well, now he's gone, and everything you thought you knew is shifting, and there's a new sheriff in town. So a lot of good things happening in Tuscaloosa, exciting time of year, and we'll see how we finish the winter. And
we get back, we'll talk about the Auburn Tigers. Again, we want to congratulate the Arnold Marlins, the number one team, not just in the state of Florida, number one team in the nation, soccer team. If you could find it in your heart to go by Arnold High School, even if it's $5, $100, whatever you can give, we would really appreciate it. Their expenses were through the roof going. They had to stay down there quite a long time. So we need finance, help them out financially. So please, they brought a lot of recognition throughout the country to Bay County, being the national champs and state champs of Florida. Go by the high school, drop off the money, and just say, look, this is for the soccer team to help pay their expenses. We really appreciate it. If you can do that, please do so. I know you're busy. Drive on to high school, give them a check, give them some cash. $5 can help. Anything can help. All right, let's talk about some great people. J. Michael's Restaurant, Thomas Drive, the best seafood, the coldest beer. Go check it out. You'll absolutely love it. I can't wait till tomorrow. I like the crisp fish. Really good and healthy, good food down there. Best seafood, coldest beer, the legendary J. Michael's Restaurant. South Oak, Title & Closing, Chuck Tucker's number one, not even close. 30A, Mark Cowart, legendary realtor down there. They all used. They demand. We got to go with South Oak Time Closing. No surprises. Charlie Corn's Place on 15th Street. Beautiful facility. The back room sits up to about 25 people. You can have a big, huge birthday party down there. Our anniversary. Wildcat, we can invite people and go down there and have an anniversary party down there. Linda and Charlie have had a restaurant since 1986. They know what they're doing. Great home cooking is unbelievable. We'll be right back. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida presents the madness of college basketball. 68 teams, 32 conference champions, but there can only be one. ESPN Northwest Florida is your exclusive radio home for the NCAA College Basketball Tournament.
Good morning. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your forecast on this Thursday. Some sun this afternoon and evening with a gentle breeze out of the southwest at 8 miles per hour, and look for the high to be 72. Tonight, there will be some clouds with the temperature reaching 60. Mostly cloudy much of the day, but with a possibility of thunderstorms in the evening tomorrow with the high of 72. This weather is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Hello, this is Rick Vossen with RV of Panama City, your local Stormore portable building dealer, located at 2241 East Baldwin Road. Shopping for a garage, portable building, cabin? We build them anywhere from 8 to 16 foot wide, 10 feet to 60 feet long. We can do insulation, electricity, transom dormers, thermal windows. Come, let's customize a building together. Rick Vossen, Stormore Portable Building Dealer, Panama City.
Sports fans, we love our teams, but let's talk real estate for a moment. Meet Berg Title, your trusted local real estate title and escrow company. Based in downtown Panama City, Berg Title knows the community inside out. They handle everything from title searches to escrow services with expertise. Honest, reliable, and here to make your real estate journey smooth. Remember, it's Berg Title. Call them at 850-250-2900. That's Berg Title, your partner for a worry-free real estate experience in Panama City and Panama City Beach.
It moves fast. The High School Spotlight. Weekdays at 5:40.
Let's do it.
Sponsored by Barbaritos. Now back to the Coach James Hale Show inside the J. Michael Studio. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Yeah. Eagle. Hey, Martha, Kenny, James Gualamar, Jenna. Some of my favorite people right there.
Coach Manley.
Great family. They go to a great church. They know an unbelievable preacher. This guy is as good as anybody in the country. They brag on you all the time.
They're great people. They really are great.
I think
family.
James has got you a Bama shirt too or something. No, seriously. Tommy told me last night to tell you. I think Tommy might have it. Jeremy has some kind of Bama shirt to give to you, and you will be getting a Bama shirt from James Walmart.
All right, very good.
Yeah.
I had Tommy's jacket from when he left it here last week. I got it back to him.
Yeah, when he gets his Bama shirt, you get your jacket back.
Did you give him back his dentures he left it here last week? Anyway.
Hey, Jeremy, what television station is that your church is on?
ECP is the
digital. It's what is it, 7.5 or 24.3 or?
I think that's right. Don't quote me on that one. I have to check with our tech folks. They just try to make us look good.
He love his pay
He
grade.
looks good on TV.
He does a good job.
He gets into it.
He does an excellent job, no doubt about that. Let's talk about Auburn. I got a few things I want to cover with Auburn. We all know Nick Saban, the GOAT, is gone. What's going to happen? Hugh Freeze was in Montgomery. He made some questions. Why not Auburn? LSU, Georgia, and Auburn. Which three of these schools are going to take advantage of the GOAT being gone? In recruiting the elite players of the country, it's come down to really Ohio State, Georgia, and Alabama, if you looked over the last 5-6 years, or even go back further than that. With Nick gone and Alabama's recruiting staff, the guys that were there that did all this great recruiting, a lot of them are gone. I don't understand that move. That's one thing I think he screwed up big time on. They're gone. They got some new guys in there. They got this guy from South Carolina. He's coached 2 years, and that's it. And the guy that was with him at Washington. I do believe they made a mistake in there, and I will say that. But LSU right now is knocking it out of the ballpark. They got the number one quarterback in the country from Mississippi coming in there this weekend. He's been twice to Michigan, so they're bringing back home to Baton Rouge this weekend. They might sign the number one, number two, number three receiver in the country. They got a shot at it. They're doing a good job.
They better hold on to the number one. Everybody's after him.
He's no doubt.
He's waffling a little bit.
No doubt about that. Kirby recruits like no other, so I think they'll get stronger. But Pat, I want to go back to Pat Dye when Coach Bryant retired and died a month later. Auburn took over. Pat Dye took advantage of that situation. They out-recruited Alabama. They outplayed Alabama. They were the top team in the state, and that was a lot going towards Pat Dye. Hugh Freeze, he goes, why not us? Why not Auburn? And he's right. Let's look at Nick Saban's first year at Alabama. He went 7-6, trick play, a pass to the left offensive tackle, won the game, the Independence Bowl in Shreveport.
Yep.
They beat Colorado to give him a 6-7 record. Hugh Freeze in his first year at Auburn, they go 6-6. Alabama lost to Louisiana Monroe, and Saban thought the world had come to an end. Auburn loses to New Mexico State. And Mexico State turned out to be a pretty good, decent football team, but they shouldn't have beat Auburn, but they did.
Bad.
But in the bowl game, Auburn did not show up, did not play well. They had all kinds of situations going on there with the coaching staff, the players, and everything else. Auburn goes 6-7 in Hugh Freeze year. Year two, Nick Saban goes 12-0, loses the SEC championship to Florida. Then they go to the Sugar Bowl after getting their hearts broke and didn't show up, and Utah put them on them. And I think we know who the coach was. Utah is, with a pretty good coach. So Alabama in year two goes 12-2. And now Hugh Freeze, is he an elite head coach? Is he a good head coach? We don't know yet. Now, things are different compared to in 2008. NIL was not legal. I didn't say it wasn't going on. I said it was not legal. But the biggest deal was a transfer deal. Saban didn't have to deal with that back in 2008. Hugh Freeze does have to deal with that, so that's going to give him a little leeway. I think if he's going to be the kind of coach that Auburn wants, if he's an elite coach, I think he's got to win at least 10 games next year. I think a 10-3 record, Auburn, you should feel really good about. Even, honestly, if he's like a Nick Saban, I'd say 11-2. Their first 5 games they should win. They pull off they beat Oklahoma, which Oklahoma really hadn't done much the last couple of years, so they could possibly do that. What do you think, Jeremy? If he's an elite football coach, what's the number for you? Is it 12-0 like Nick Saban?
No.
Or 10-3?
I think that the 12-0 is going to be kind of unattainable when you look at
for anybody.
They're staring down.
For anybody.
I mean, Missouri, Georgia, Alabama. Oklahoma.
Tennessee's getting better.
Yeah, that's tough.
Ole Miss.
Will there be the expectation of 10 wins? Absolutely.
Right.
That's just comes with the territory. So, and you know, and we all know it's a "what have you done for me lately" mentality, and so there's pressure there. But at the same time, I think the expectations have to be dialed back a little bit in the new environment that everybody's navigating. The number of games has gone up. I mean, no one's going to